All right, y'all. This is a general Atlas AP history overview for both AP World and AP US history. This course is completely asynchronous and is sequential, so you can work ahead. You will have meeting times depending on which class you're in. A days for World, B days for APUSH. Currently, that can change, so please make sure that you look at the assignment page. Every week at 12 a.m., no matter if Monday is an A day or a B day, then your assignments for that week will open. Your due dates will vary whether or not I give you extended time to allow you to turn things in on other days. So please make sure that you're looking at your calendar. If you are behind in the course, you will be required to attend meetings. You also will be required to attend meetings after you get feedback. So if you take a test or you turn in a paper, you will have a meeting with me to go over feedback. Weekly attendance is recorded every Monday. It is for the previous school week. So, for example, this year, the first day of school is Tuesday. So, I'll be taking attendance for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on Monday. Multi-day assignments count for all the days listed. If it spans that many days and you submit the final product, and that covers your days because those were like project work days. Technology issues do not equal an excused absence for anything. You get locked out. Zscaler issues, Canvas goes down. We have dealt with all of them. You will get information from me. So make sure that you access your student email, your parent square or student square rather. And when we get into a little bit deeper, we'll get remind codes so that I can send out announcements via text and you have those as well. Check your course announcements. That's where I'm going to put your urgent updates if I need to cancel office hours or anything. We're going to go over how to email, but please make sure that anything that you post on announcements can benefit everybody, not just you. If that's the case, you need to email me directly. When you do email me, you need to have a clear and specific subject line. It does not need to be the entire question or statement in the subject line. That is unacceptable. You should have the full name and course information. If you just put, I'm from your AP course. Okay, cool. I teach too. So make sure you put APUSH or AP World History or World History AP. WHAP is usually how I do it, or APWM, AP World Modern, and then APUSH is AP United States History. Specific details about the assignments and deadlines, and then make sure that I can respond to your questions. So if you don't give me enough information, you're going to get one of two things. One, you're going to get an email back within 24 school hours that says, that wasn't specific enough. I have no clue what you're talking about. Can you please be more clear? Or two, please come to office hours so that we can discuss this further. And if I can answer, I will. If I can't, I will just ask for you to come in. So when should you use office hours? Well, what are office hours? Because you might be coming in from 8th grade where you didn't have as much, or be coming from a synchronous school, traditional school, or your teachers just didn't really use them that much, or you didn't use them that much in previous time. Excuse me. This is dedicated time for you to meet with me. You can ask questions and get support, guidance, feedback, discussion, and this is available to all students. It's one of the most underused aspects of virtual education that kids are not using. Office hours are not just for students who are failing. Okay, so you just need to make sure that when you come in, you know that you don't know everything. Office hours are part of your learning process, not an additional thing. It is already kind of like woven into the course that you come meet with me, so please do so. Best reasons to attend. If you're having an issue with assignment, like it's not functioning properly just for you, or you can't figure something out, office hours. Confusing concepts, office hours. Follow-up questions from class, office hours or recordings. Reviewing assignments and projects, office hours. Prepare for an exam, office hours. Feedback on work, office hours. Help studying, office hours. You see a trend here? Good times to attend. Come early and come often. You don't have to stay long, but if you've been working on something for like 20 minutes and you can't figure it out, please come in and don't wait till the last minute. Early support is more effective than emergency help right before deadlines. And you don't have to have a perfect question. That's why I'm there, to help you. Why you're confused about something, why you don't have a great understanding of something. These are all reasons to come in and to use office hours. They also help you build confidence because you have the ability to say, "Oh, I can just go ask for help." Um, I love teaching AP histories. That's why I teach too. So please come see me, come talk to me. I love talking about history. Make sure that you do this because this also helps you. Like I said, you're not thinking about it right now, but it's really hard to get recommendation letters when you're in asynchronous or a virtual school. Make sure you have the materials pulled up and that you've attempted the problems independently or the questions independently or the task independently. While you're there, take notes. Be like, wait, I want to write this down. They will be recorded. Um, so you can go back and review them, but you'll also just make sure that you ask questions. That's what they're for. So, kind of a good litmus test to look at if you would come to office hours or use email. If it requires more than a short factual answer or involves your work, feedback, or a discussion, if you can answer yes to any of that, come to office hours. If it just needs a brief, simple, factual response and does not require a discussion, you can use email. You have access to this on your course module as well. And just remember, office hours are a learning tool, not a last resort. Use all of the tools you have to be successful. Daily assignments are due at 11:59 on their assigned date, whether that is an A day or a B day, depending on your course. 5 points will be deducted per day. And that includes the days that are not your designated class day because it's still late. Blank assignments that are submitted to be able to move forward are considered a violation of our student code of conduct, and they will be noted, and it can lead to removal from the magnet program if it's a consistent issue. Blank work will still accrue late points upon resubmission, and you'll need to come into office hours to resubmit that. Progress monitoring, I do this a little bit different than some other classes, so I want to make sure that you understand how this works. Your daily grades go into like a little category or group called progress monitoring for each unit. I drop the single lowest grade, and then I enter in the average of all of your assignments from that module or that unit as a quiz grade for the module. So unit 0 will not have one progress monitoring, but unit 1 and 2 will each individually. So that's going to be like 2 quiz grades for those daily assignments for those. Each assignment will have an AI level attached to it. Follow it. That's all. If you don't do your own work, if you don't cite sources, then you'll fail because you can, if you use or are suspected of use of AI, the first assignment you get to redo. The second assignment is automatically a 0. And once we get to the fourth assignment, you can get suspended, which means you get locked down from your the ability to come in and get assistance, and from your Chromebook, you are out of school, suspended, done. I don't want that to happen, but AI use is pervasive, and it is kind of silly because your end goal is to get college credit, and if you don't do the work, then that's not going to happen. Don't like your grade and want to resubmit? Come to office hours. I hope you're seeing a trend here. That is the only way a resubmission will be granted. Please create a weekly plan. I will create it for you in the form of, on the days that are not your designated class day, A day or B day, I will say suggested reading and notes, and you'll have your suggested reading and notes. Notes are due weekly for the topics that we covered. They look a little bit different for each class. G notes for APUSH, and then guided notes for by topic for AP World. APUSH is like a general, will be submitted at the end of the unit. So just make sure that you look at dates, that you're writing these down. Use my calendar as a starting point, but on Monday morning when you get up, you should have a plan when you look at the calendar for the class, which is located on the main page, and say, okay, yeah, that calendar is subject to change. It's located on the main page as well as in your student guide. The student guide on the module is a lot more detailed, so I would use that. But the calendar tells you what topics and what subjects we will be doing. All right. All right, so now we're just going to talk about some of the things that are specific to APUSH or AP US History. I'll be referring to it as APUSH for the course. Oh, there we go. I think the video beginning was black. My bad. All right, so your exam structure and format. Your exam will be in May. They haven't released the dates yet. They will by the first day of school, but I'm recording this in May, so I will definitely make sure you know when that is. Your total exam time is 3 hours and 15 minutes. If you took AP World History or AP GoPo, it's exactly like that. Or I know it's exactly like AP World, not GoPo, but European. So, part A of section 1 is 55 multiple choice questions in 55 minutes. Part B is 3 short answer questions. The first 2 have stimulus, so like a reading, a graph, a picture, something for you to use to help you answer it. And you have to answer 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4 do not have stimulus, so you will just answer the one that you think you'll do the best on. And then you have 1 DBQ, no choice there. You get 60 minutes with the suggestion of reading your documents for 15 and planning out your essay and then writing for 45, followed by a long essay question, which is 40 minutes. The last 2 years, these have been given simultaneously, so you get 100 minutes to do both. For the LEQ, it is broken down by periods. So, like periods 3 and 4 are question 1, 4 and 5, and then 6 and 7, something like that. It's not exactly how they're broken up. We will go over that later. But you will get 40 minutes to choose to do one of 3 questions that are from that time period. This is a comprehensive study spanning from pre-Columbian era to the present day. There are 9 chronological units covered from 1491 to the present day. It's weighted as core units, units 3 through 8 are 10 to 17%, and then bookend units, which are like 1 and 2 and 9, are 4 to 8% each. When at the top of your unit guide for each unit, you will see the weight distribution and the years for each of these units. This is college level rigor and expectation. So let's go through your themes. There are 7 thematic learning objectives: American and national identity, politics and power, work exchange and technology, culture and society, migration and settlement, geography and the environment, and America in the world. American national identity is going to be the evolution of the American identity, including citizenship and constitutionalism, foreign policy development. WXT, or work exchange and technology, is going to be economic system development, technological advancements, and market and government relations. Geography and the environment, or GEO, is going to be the natural environment's role and how human-made environmental impacts affect both the environment and the humans. Then you have migration and settlement, which is population and movement patterns, social and environmental adaptations, cultural transformation processes. PCE, or politics and power, are social group influence, political institution evolution, and then America in the world is going to be the one that's going to be used, I think, the most, and that is going to be colonial period, interactions, U.S. global influence, and international relations. You have American and regional culture, which are going to be cultural development patterns, policy and economic influences, and then social structures, our social organization system, social impact analysis, and change mechanisms. What changed to society and people's role within society? You might be looking at minorities, women, that kind of vary. I have these as Spaceman. So here are all your themes. Here you have access to this on your Unit 0 guide as well. So here are the APUSH skills. These are the historical thinking skills, HTSs. Skill 1 is going to be development and processes. Can you identify and explain how and why things happened? Sourcing is going to be looking at sources and situations of the source and telling why it was written, what was the author's purpose, what was their point of view, the historical situation, or the audience. Claims and evidence in sources are going to be analyzing arguments and primary and secondary sources. Contextualization, analyze the context. So what was happening meanwhile or right before, or what was an after effect of this time period, we're looking at events, developments, and processes. Making connections is skill 5, using your historical reasoning processes, which we're getting ready to go over, of comparison, causation, and continuity and change over time. You might hear me call this CCOT. And then argumentation is developing an argument with a historically defensible claim. Reasoning processes. There are 3. Comparison. To simplify this, compare and contrast. Okay. Similarities and differences. The significance of them. The relationship between them. Causation is cause and effect. Why did things happen? Explaining the relationship between the causes and the effects, the differences between the primary and secondary causes, between short-term and long-term effects, relative historical significance of different causes and or different effects could be some of the things that you're asked to do here. And then CCOT, or change and continuity over time, is how things change and how they stayed the same, describing patterns, looking at patterns, the significance of these developments in a larger continuity. Would that something that stayed the same or a bigger change? So we have a couple other things that you'll need to be able to do for this course, and it's going to start today. You have periodization, which is the process of creating identifiable blocks of history to facilitate your understanding of the past. Kind of like we break it down into like the medieval period, and you have the Renaissance, and then you have the Age of Revolutions. In world history, you have different periods of American history, like colonialism and a new government being formed, the birth of a nation. Contextualization is setting the scene for these events and making sure that. Okay, so just remembering that when we make a claim that we have to provide evidence for it. Let's go through each of the units that we have. I mentioned before that there are 9 units. Here are our bookend units, 1, 2, and 9. We'll spend less time on these. 1 and 2 will go pretty fast, and then 9 we'll be doing more of an overview with that unit once we get there later on. But units 1 and 2 are early American history units. This is going to be pre-Columbian civilizations, European contact, colonial development, early cultural interactions. A big focus of this is like geography. And for unit 1 and 2 is going to be not only geography, but America in the world, because America is going to be quote unquote discovered. You're going to see. So it is a lot of information, even though it is a small portion of your course content. So again, geography and the environment, America in the world, and then social structures being changed are going to be for units 1 and 2. Main focuses. 3 and 4 is going to be the Revolutionary and Early Republic. So the American Revolution, the formation of the Constitution, and then moving on to territorial expansion and economic development. Unit 5 is the Civil War and Reconstruction, sectional conflicts, how that leads to causes and impacts, the Reconstruction and failure of Reconstruction, what social transformations and constitutional amendments were created because of this time period from 1844 to 1877. Unit 6 is going to be focusing on industrialization and the progressive era, so Industrial Revolution, reforms, the World War's impact, the Great Depression, and then New Deal policies. The Modern America period, which is units 8 through 9, are going to be more Cold War dynamics, social change movements, technological advances, and the global impact. In your assignment today, you're going to use periodization, claims, and context based on your own life. We aren't going to get into themes quite yet, but we will very soon. You will be completing, I know this is AP World History, but it's APUSH's. It's a very similar assignment telling me about how these historical thinking skills affect your life. So if you have any questions, please email me or come to office hours. They can be about rules and expectations, grading policies, workload, content, the calendar, or today's assignment. Don't hesitate to reach out.